Hello everyone, and we will wait a bit more to everyone to join, like for like 1 or 2 minutes. Hi, so I think we should just start it because like I'll be recording it and um, show you the answer later. Uh, can some of you tell me that if you can see my screen? Yep. Thank you. So this will be your midterm review. And so, quick note, I have double checked all the answers I'll be giving you or showing you, but still, I'm a human, so I can make mistakes. But if you notice anything, please let me know. And yep, there shouldn't be any mistake, but still. So, we should start with the first one. So, trace and evaluate assignment sequence. What will be the output of this code? So, for these questions, what I'll suggest that write it down. Like you have your sketch paper. So just write it down. Okay. Let's say the x value, which is initially 2, right? And then our y value, which is initially 10. And then we got this line, and x equals y plus 1. So 10 plus 1, which is 11. And then y equals x minus 1. So our x is right now 11. So 11 minus 1, which is 10. And then we have our x value, x plus 1. So our x value was 11 and has not changed, so it's right now, sorry, it looks odd. So it's 12 right now, and then we have our y value, which is y minus 1. So this one minus 1, which is 9, and then lastly we have x minus y. So x is equal to now x minus y, so which is 3. So it says system.out.print the value for x. So it should be 3. I hope everyone got that. I'll be glad like, if any of you, just any of you like say that I got that. Hello. Okay, let's see the chat. Thank you. Okay. So next part, remove this. So I'll be giving you an answer with the whole explanation and stuff. So uh, just wait after this to this meeting end. So our next question. Now our x value is 13, then our y value is 3, and our a value is our y value, which is 3 right now. And then our y value has changed to our x value, which was 13. So now it's 13. And then our x value is a value. So a was 3, x is now 3. So sim dot out dot print x, which is, so we should output the value of for x, which is currently 3. So for such math, I would suggest that so Ritish Jayakumar, you thought x equals 3 for the first one. I mean the output was 3. So yes, you were correct. And yep. So for this kind of like equation, like I know most of you can do it like just by looking at it, but I would say don't take it for granted. Just write on a paper, do step by step. In that way, like you won't do a mistake. And I'm telling from my experience, like don't do it on your head. Yep. So let's go to our next question. So valid Java identifiers. So I've shared the rule for Java interface. It should begin with letter A through Z, A through Z. So it doesn't matter like who it's capital or lower letter. It can start with the underscore and dollar sign. So nothing else. Like only dollar sign is the like only exceptional and no other signs. And then it can contain uh, digits, but not in the beginning, and cannot contain space, hyphens, or special symbols except underscore and dollar sign, as I mentioned in the first row. And then it cannot be reserved words. So reserved keywords are like, class, static, and stuff like that. There are like many reserved words. So what you should do, like you should have a glance on the most popular ones, like most used ones. But I would say that just look at the like, basic ones like classic, public, static, and this that kind of stuff. So let's look at our options. Hmm, name. So it starts with the one, so it's not our option. And then has a hyphen, so it's not as a symbol, so it's not. And it starts with a capital letter, but it's valid. Everything is valid here, so it is our option. And it has space, so it's not. And then it is valid because it do not break any other rule. Well, I'm seeing some students D, F, G, H. I will see that. And then G, it is valid, and H is valid. It's not valid because there's a space and there's number in the beginning, so it's not valid. So it is indeed D, F, G, H. Yep, you were correct. And yeah, so move to the next question. Okay, space, so not valid. Starts with the digits, so not valid. It's valid. Starts with a sign, not valid. Sorry. It has a special sign, so not valid. And it is valid. It is also valid. It has a space, so not valid. It is valid. Uh, this one is valid as well. So answer for two. Second one is C, G. Sorry. I forgot F. Okay, let's write it. I, J. Just, I got it in the wrong way. Anyway, so that was your answer for the question number two. But ignore the like results for this one. Like you won't get this exact question on your exam. So ignore this. Just follow the rules. and memorize the rules. Those are exceptions. Someone commented. C is also correct for the first one. C is not correct because like there's an ampere. Let me show you. This is not valid. Only underscore and dollar sign is valid. Okay, I think we can move to our next question. Okay, so there are rules for doing math in the Java program. So I've showed you the rules. First rule is parenthesis first, like whatever is in the parenthesis, you should do that first. Let's say something is in here, A plus B minus C, whatever it is, you should do this first and then do the rest. Let's say B, C, anything. You do it rest. So parenthesis first, and then unary operators. So this thing, most of the students get confused. Plus minus. So this plus minus is like, sometimes we do uh, A plus equals to, right? And let's say A plus plus. These unary operators are these, not your like basic A plus B or something like that. So, sorry, let me remove them. And then you have your multiplications and addition and subtraction. I mean, this is similar question like this in the. So I'll answer questions like that, in the very end of the meeting. So just wait for that part. Okay. And so now we have our last year, and most importantly, like if you see like multiplication, division, or modulus in the same line, then it should be left to right. And there are some exceptions, which is like while assignment equals unary operators and these kind of exceptions. Unary operators, you should not. I think you won't have such question in this level, but yeah, those are just right to left, and usually you'll follow the left to right rule for the same level. Say, let's say you have a times b divided by C. Then you will do the multiplication first and the division left. It's not because like multiplication after division or anything like that. It's because left to right. Okay, let's do our math. So A is equals 11, B equals 37, C equals 3, D equals 5. Okay, we need to do. So we have a modulus and a multiplication. So that would be left to right. So we'll do this first, B modulus C, which is like 37 modulus 3, which should be the remainder after you divide it by 3, so which is 1. So this part is 1. And then you multiply it with D is 5 times 5, which is like 5, and you add A with it. So 11 plus 5, which is equals 16. So you should follow the rules like one after other. Like I've written all the rules for simple maths, so you should follow that. And otherwise, like Java won't recognize your math. So for our first question's answer is 16. Okay, let me erase some stuff. I think I should clear everything. Okay, let's do our second one. So now our A equals 29, B equals 23, C equals 4, D equals 2. I'm writing it because um like I want to say like please write your values in your sketch paper because like you are going to make mistakes. I'm telling it from my like my own experience. Like there will be like too much pressure and stuff, and also sometimes you get too much overconfident and you get it wrong. So A times B and C divided by D. So we need to do this first, and then then the subtraction. So A times B, so which is 29 times 23. Sorry, why I'm doing this silly mistake. Okay, 8 and 0 and so which is so we have our value for A times B. Uh, so Ryan, you want to record it? I'll be sharing the recording anyway, so I'm declining it for now. Okay. And now we do our second part, C divided by D. So C divided by D, 4 divided by 2, which is 2, and we subtract that from our multiplication. 2, which is 665. So our answer for the second question would be 665. I know like some of you like might not get my words properly. Like I'm doing enough. I don't know. Like math is like it depends on like how you see it. So, but you if you follow the rules I've written in the slides, you can surely do it first. Okay, let's move to our next question. So identify the Java primitive types by name. So there are like 8 primitive data types. I have written it here: byte, short, integer, long, float, double, char or char, like however you pronounce it, and then Boolean. So it is fixed. There's like nothing else. So just you have to just memorize 8 of them. Like you will need it like in your free in your future coding programs. So just memorize it. So Boolean is a primitive data type. Double is a primitive data type. String is not. Oh well. I've seen like most of the students do it wrong for string. Like they think that string is a primitive data type, but it's not. So it's not, and then math is not, class is not, class is it, and integer it is, float it is, uh, array is not, a random is not, and char is. So our answer for question 4 is A, B, F, G, and A. Okay, let's move to the next question. Like we have too many questions left. So for the next question, I would like you to have a screenshot of this. This will help you to do the next questions. Okay, the next question. So which of the following Java literal have the data type float? So going back to the previous slide, float. So float has uh, a form in which you have to write F at the end of the digit, and long is also the same way. You have to write L in the end of the digit. Let me just go through all of them. So byte. So byte starts from minus 128 to 127. And then we have short, which is like minus uh G 32,768 to 32,767. And then we have our integer values and our long, float, double. So double in double, like you can use your decimal like, more points after your math. So float works the same way, just float is 32 bits and double is 64 bits. And then we have our characters, char. So and Booleans are like true and false. Like it's either one or minus one, so it is like true or false. And then string, you always use your quotes for string. And null is null. Like null is something like void. It's not zero, but null means null. It just means it. Okay. So you must like know like what kind of like rules are for every single type in order to declare them. So in such question, you'll need to memorize all of them. Okay, let's do this one. So which of the following Java literal have the data type float? Choose all that apply. Okay. So this one is a double, so it's not. This one is a float because it has F indent, and this one is a double. This one is a char, whatever, however you pronounce it. And then this one is a float. And then this one is a char again. This one is Boolean. This one is actually uh, a string, not a Boolean. And but anyway, our question doesn't ask for it. So next Boolean, integer again, and then string again. So our answer for this one is P and E. Let's go to the next one. Which of the following Java literals have the data type char? Choose all that apply. Okay. So this one is a double, this one is a float, this one is a double, this one is a char, this one is a float, this one is a char. Some might confuse it with a digit, but it's not because it's in the code. So it's a char and then boolean, then string, then boolean, integer, integer again, and string again. So our answer for this one is D and F. Okay, so next question. So when we do like use different types of like data in a single calculation, there will be a flow. That flow is integer converts to float, and then float converts to double. So it's a hierarchy that you need to follow. And so let's evaluate our questions. This one is a double, and this one is a float. Uh, so like just by looking at it, you can say that like, the answer should be a double because like it's in the top hierarchy. So our answer is a double. And for the next one, this one is an integer and this one is a float. So in the hierarchy, float is on the top. So our answer is float. Sorry. Okay, which of the following would be 10 this? Okay, for this kind of question, like to have your own, you need to have your like own reasoning for everything. Like this you can't just memorize. So let's see at our first question. Like this wants to store the number of passengers. So let's say we can have one passenger, two passenger, three passengers, 100 passengers, 500 passengers, 1,000 passengers, but we can't have like 1.5 passengers. So you can't cut a passenger in half. Like that will be violent. So yep. So for that value, we don't need a double or float. We need is, as you can easily say, it's an integer. So our type should be an integer. And let's go to the next one, and it asks to, so storing a person height. So in this case, we can have decimal values. So let's say we can have like 5.6 feet, or say 105.45 inches, something like that. So we need either float or double. So in our options, we don't have a double, so our option should be float. Answer. So data types, again, this is a general table for everything. Uh, I would like you to take a screenshot of this, like to solve the next question. Okay. So, which of the following correctly declares a variable of type Boolean in Java? To all that apply. Okay. So, for a Boolean, we can declare it as a Boolean B, or Boolean B equals true, but it can't be any other thing than a true or false. So, let's go one by one. So, A equals Boolean truth, that's not valid. I'll come back to B after I say go through all the other options, because B is tricky. And C is valid because Boolean is just it's just declaring a Boolean, just it's just declaring a Boolean variable A. None of this can't be, because like we already have it. And then it's not, and it's an array and also a wrong array. Then Boolean A equals false. Yep. So we have our answer C and G. So let's look at the option B. I'm talking about it because I got it wrong in my exam, so I know people may get it wrong, because like most of you like practice your exams with AI, so they give this one as correct, but in our exam it's false because there's a reason. So the question asks like correctly declaring a variable of type Boolean. So it's asking for a Boolean type, but here it's it's an array, which you will learn in the later in the semester. So first of all, it's not covered in the syllabus yet, so you can understand from that part. And again, uh, so it's an array of Boolean. It's not a Boolean or something else. So it's an array of Boolean. So this option goes out. So write a line of Java code that will declare a double variable name. It's a simple variable. Let's say double, and our variable name is x equals our value is 90.2524. And don't miss. Yep, you were right. So go to our next question. Again, writing on the paper. So for this kind of, can you please go back to the previous slide? Uh, so you will get the slides after the meeting ends. I'll give you guys a link to for the slide and the recording. You can go through it. So let's just solve it, because there are like many other questions and there will be a Q&A session. So I don't want it to be too long. Okay. So as I was saying, write it on your paper. So there's uh so we are using the caret function. So caret method. In this chart, so you will be using the values. So it asks for our index three characters. So one zero, as you all know, like in string, the first index is zero. It's not one, it's zero. So zero, one, two, three. So our character at index three is S. So only seven, the option seven has S. So yes, Natalie, you are right. Our option answer for this one is seven. Yes. So compared to this is a tricky one. So what compare to does is like it compares the value, the ASCII value of the first one to the next one. So it will first compare the value for ASCII value for A, and it will subtract the value from the next first character of the second string, which is B. And as far as I know, A ASCII value is 97 minus 98. So it should be a negative because 97 is uh, lower than 98. So it should be -1, and it is indeed less than 0. So our answer would be true. So some of you like just some of you like do this mistake. Like they're in a hurry. They just see that S1 minus compared to S2, they just get in the mind that it's a negative thing, so it should be false. No, the whole question is it's less than 0. So yep, the statement is true. So our answer is true. Oh, okay. Yep. 97 and 98 are ASCII values. I'm glad that like most of you are like helping one another in the chat. Thank you very much. Okay, go to our next slide. Okay, S2 equals S1. So in the equals thing, you must follow that like every character should match. Even if it was like say carrot and it was like C in capital letter carrot, this is not same. How should it's not same. So, but in our question, both of them are same, so the answer should be true because it will return a positive value and its answer should be true. And for the next one, again, write on your paper. So it asks for the index of capital A. There's something many of you get wrong. So it asks for capital A, but in our string, we don't have a capital A. There are A's, but in lower letters. So it should return a negative form. It should return false, which is -1 in Java. So our answer should be this one. Because always remember, Java is case sensitive. Always remember that. Okay. Again, write on paper. So for length function, like yep, this is correct. So for length function, we have to count everything, including space and like the and like commas and everything. So seven, that's the space counted. Two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, the space. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and indeed our answer is 19. So what I would really suggest that like, just write it on your paper. Like if you just count it from the screen, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, you might get you might get it wrong. Like I'm telling from my experience, my friend's experience, like you will get it wrong. So just write it on your paper and you'll go get the exact length. So for the second one, uh, give two string values. So there are the two string values S1 and S2, and so it wants to determine if the length is same. So it wants the length value should be an integer and it should match it. Check if it matched. Which you following? Okay. So in order to check if it's the same, we use equal equal, and the length for S1 is S1 dot length, and, and length for S2 is S2 dot length. So the option that matches is indeed E. Go to our next question. Okay, substring. So for the substring, there will be two index in the substring function. The index that starts with and the index that you should not include. This is what where like many people get wrong. So let's let's just do it. Okay. So our index 0 is A, so we'll start from our index 2, second index, which is index 1. So P, and index 2, P, and we should not include 3, the later index. So it should be index 1 and index 2, not 3. So that option is uh, option 4, and we'll also have another. Yep, you are right, it's option 4. Always remember, don't include this index, like the second one, let's say. So bring A, B, never include P in your string. Again, another substring. So 0, 1, 2 starts from the 2 index, and then 3, 4 we should not include. So it should be P and L, which is option 2. What about if we got 2 and 3? In that, if you got like options like 2 and 3, then it's just a single character, the second one, the only this one. Okay, coding. So your exam will have two parts. One of them would be like multiple choice questions like these ones, and then you'll have your coding part. So that's your part two. Okay, let's do it. So in the coding questions, you must see where's your main function. So there's our main, and what it does, it calls the foo function. So in when it calls foo, there's an integer x that's dedicated only for this function. It's not outside. So it's only valid for inside foo. But it's returning nothing. So this is void, it's returning nothing. So what foo does is nothing because it gets no returns, so it gets nothing. And then it says system.out.println x. So we have our private static integer value x 3, so which means that we have an integer x that counts for everything in the main class. So our value for x is 3. So you might have some question about like, what if there was a line that says integer x equals 4 here? If something like this happened, in that case, you should follow the integer in your function. So in that case, you don't get the value from the outer part. Okay, let's go to our next question. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized that I've said something wrong about the question. So these questions will be in your multiple choice question. It won't be your part for your part two. I've just realized it. Like, I'm so sorry about that. And yep. So there will be questions in your multiple choice, like or fill in the blanks. So these will be part of that. And don't worry about the coding, but those will be like so simple, like you did in your lab one or two, something like that. There will be something like that says it will give you a little bit of challenge, but not that much. Don't worry about that. Like just go through your cyborgs and stuff. You'll know how to do it. There will be no their own. So all of them won't be multiple choice. There will be some choice option questions with fill in the blanks, and there will be like one's MCQs and stuff. Okay, let's go to our question. First of all, our in our main function, integer a equals integer a, which is equals foo 8. So it's calling the function foo. So we have foo here 8, and what it does is it says a equals bar a minus 2. So we have our 8 value. So it will call this. Let's say this is 1, now is 8. Now it calls 8 minus 2, which is 6, to the bar function. So it came to here, and a equals now 6 minus 1, which is 5, and it now we have a print function. So in these questions, you have to follow the uh, print function. Like you have to check like what it prints. Like it doesn't print all the way everything like in its way. So this is our first print, which is a equals 5 right now. So it will print 5 and then return 5 plus 1, which is 6, to the method it calls. So it a is in the full function. A is now 6, and then it prints 6 and returns 6 to our main function again. So you have to follow the chain, like how it goes step by step, step by step. So now we have a equals 6 in our main function. And then again, it calls bar A, which is bar 6. So in our bar function, bar method, we have a 6 value, then A equals 6 minus 1, which is 5. Then it prints A. Now it prints 5 and then returns 5 plus 1 is 6. Now B is equal to 6, but it has nothing to do, but this is because like there are no print puts after that. So our answer is this 565. And finally, our last question. Again, this is like similar question. So our integer value a equals bar 2. So our bar 2, it outputs 2 and then returns 2 plus 1, which is 3. So a is equals to 3 now. Equals 3 now. And then it calls foo. For B, it calls foo 1 A, which is 3, foo 3. So it comes to our foo function and it calls for 3 again. So it comes to here again and it prints 3 and returns 3 plus 1, which is 4. So this A is equals to bar A, which we got a return of 4 and minus 2. So this A is now 2 and it returns 2 to our main function. So P is now 2 and then it prints P, which is 2, and this is our answer. So the main thing, oh, okay. So the main thing you need to follow, like there are steps you need to follow. Let me clear it. We get the answer as well. Okay. So in the first line, it says integer a equals bar a. So it will indeed get a return of integer value, which comes from the bar function. So it calls the bar2 method. So bar2, when it gets an integer a, so this a is an integer variable for this method. It's not for anything outside it. So it gets an a. It should return an integer because it's an integer return. So our a in the main function will get an integer. So before that, it's what it is doing is printing that printing that value. So it's printing 2 and then returning a plus 1. So this method does two things. It gives the return, and while doing the return, it prints something. It does something else. And there's the thing you need to get in your mind head to understand this type of maths. It's not a math though, but so yes, that was our last question, and we'll start our Q&A right now. Okay, you can one by one start. You can unmute yourself and speak about any question if you have any question.
Hi,
Um,
hello. Could you go over compare to again? Because I didn't fully understand the ASCII values thing.
okay. Okay. So what it does is first of all it compares the first one. It will firstly check like wherever it's a match or it's not a match. So in our first character it's not a match. So it will compare it. So our first one is A. The ASCII value for A is 97. And I hope you know the what is an ASCII value, right? You can unmute and
Yeah,
say.
yeah, I know that. Are we supposed to
Okay.
memorize that?
So for ASCII values, like I would say you don't need to memorize it. You just need like two values, like capital A is equal to 65 and lower A is equal to 97, and then you can do like adding to the like next alphabet. You just need this to be remember. Like you can still like you can have your cheat sheet and like have all the values, but I wouldn't recommend it. You just need these two values so that you you can just like add and get the values. Okay, and the ASCII value for B equals 98. So when you compare it, the first value is less than the second value, which is -1. So yep, the whole statement is true because -1 is less than 0. So our answer is true. Anyone else? So Suleiman Al Saif. Yup, you have raised your hand. Do you have any question?
Yeah, I have a question about like the tests in general.
Okay.
The multiple choice section is 17 questions.
Yep.
Yeah, and the writing, what is it? Or
So
sorry,
the writing part, it's not actually writing, the really coding part. So you have your part one and part two, right?
yeah,
So part one, you will have the exam will be the same as your quarter exam. Like you have all taken your quarter exam, right? So part one would be the same as your quarter exam, and the questions will be mostly like the ones you have seen in your study guide.
yeah.
So this will be won't be the exact same, but on the same topic, and also from Zybooks reading. And
I
obviously,
got
to Zybooks reading, I wouldn't recommend like uh
yeah, I got confused a bit because in the study guide in the top it said like the test is like 40 questions. I got confused.
Uh, there should be like number like 40 questions. There shouldn't be like too low. Like 17 is not. As far as I know, there shouldn't be 17 or 19 questions.
Is it
It should
17
be
questions?
40. No, it
Okay.
should be for 40.
Like
So you'll have like same type of question for like let's say like you
but there's more,
choosing.
right?
Yeah, like there can be like multiple question or the same types, right?
The
The
same
same
types.
thing, but yeah.
Yeah, and the writing, where can we study the writing? In the lab
So
or the
yep.
code?
I'd say that just focus on the lab and do your type of reading. And mostly like if you are good with your lab, like if you get if you think that you are confident that like you can do all your lab on your own, then you're good for the coding part.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Anyone else?
So two questions.
Sure.
Okay. What specific topics do we need to know for like the for like the midterm exam on Monday? Like, do we like have to know like do we have to like know about like the private static void for the exam?
I'm not exactly sure like where you are studying right now. Like there are some students who have done all the topics for midterm and then have passed it and studied to for the finals. So I'm not sure about your one, but as far as I know, there should not be anything like after midterm. So everything you have in your modules, like there will be sections like week one, two, three, four, five, and then midterm. Anything before the midterm, you have to study it for the midterm.
And then it's everything like before the midterm, right? That is going to be on the midterm exam.
Yep.
Yeah, and then second question, could you go over that uh the one of those fill in the blank questions where I have to figure out what the input is once again?
Can you tell the question number?
Actually, I'll just figure out, never mind.
No problem. Like I'll go through the questions again. So can you see the screen?
Yeah, but not this one particularly, like the
Okay.
private static void when the one with that where we had to figure out the input or and the output.
Oh, okay. This one? Uh, is this the one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for this one, as I've said, you need to focus on the main function first. So we should work in our main function, and it says foo. So like when we call the foo method, nothing happens because it gets nothing in return. It's a void. So if there was something like this, let's say print output something here, the- like print something like I'm not doing the whole thing just to like give you the example. And so if there was something like that, that should work like when you call it, but there's nothing there, so it will not get anything and it will do nothing. It's just a regular method that does nothing and gets nothing. And then you are outputting your x value, and there's a private static integer x equals 3. So this value is valid for everything in the same class. So unless you have like mentioned like any other integer value here in your method, so you any other method will primarily think that there is an integer value which is variable x which is 3. If you mention like integer x equals 4 or something else inside the method, then it would change the value. But unless you have mentioned unless you mention it in your method, then there won't be any other value. So this will be your value, which is 3. Is there another question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Our exam, is it going to be in person, like when we have our labs, or
Okay, yep. All of your exams will be the time you do your lab, it will be in person, and there will be proctors. Yep. And it
oh,
will
all
be
right,
on honor lock. But this
all
time
right,
you won't need your camera access because there will be proctors in person.
instructors.
So
All
yeah,
right,
so you don't need your camera access. You just need the honor lock and everything.
all right. So another question: these questions that you're showing us right now, is there a way we can access them to use as a study guide?
I think it is on your modules.
Where exactly? Because
There's a
I know.
there's midterm in your module. But anyway, like, I'll be sharing these slides like after this meeting. So
Okay, please do.
if
Thank you.
yeah, you can find it from here, but again, like it should be in your module.
All right.
There are many questions in the chat. I can check. Paper on the midterm, yes, you can have your sketch paper. You have to do midterm and lab challenge during lab. No, there won't be any lab challenge when it's your midterm. Can I ask question during the midterm? So you can ask question to the proctor, but if it's related to your exam, I don't think they will have. So for the coding part, there will be simple methods that you need to try. Just there won't be anything tough. Like you can check it. Like you don't have to like submit it right away. You can check it, and if it works, then you can submit. So so for part 2, I would say this just practice your lab challenges. Those will be more than enough. Like you won't get that much like hard coding in your part 2 for first midterm. And, yep, that was. So, do any of you have any more questions? Did we done any?
Yeah, I have a
No,
question.
this will be in your classroom, like in the lab in person. So, yep. Yeah,
Sorry,
someone else
sorry,
asking a
how many
question.
questions in the free response again?
I think it is mentioned in your exam, which is published. No, it will not published yet, but it says how many questions are there.
How many questions are there in the FRQ portions? Like how many FRQs on the midterm? Like, sorry, my internet connection is a little bit down today, so I'm not catching what you're saying.
What kind of effort like what is that?
No, no, no. Like the FRQs, like the coding questions, correct? So how many coding questions will there be? I could not catch it.
It's not fixed because like when I was giving the exam, like there were like 2 questions for me, for 3 questions for my friend. Like it was like it depends. Like it won't be like more than 3. It would be under 3, and those will be like simple methods you need to apply. Yep.
Could you like post some sample coding questions so that I can just practice then and then be ready on Monday?
Uh, well, I don't have too much time. I will say shortly. So that let's say it might. So this is not the question. It might ask like let's say write a method that takes 2 integer values, adds them, divides them, or do something like that, and then gives the output and print it, something like that. So this would be simple.
Very simple, correct?
Yep. But still, you need to practice like all of your labs, like those would be related to your lab and individual assignment. So you should practice them.
Sure, we'll definitely do. Thank you.
Yep.
I
Uh,
have a question. Oh, my bad.
all right. You go, you go, you go.
Okay. I have a question. Like for the multiple. Sorry, can we have like a paper, like what we did
Yep. You can have
in
your
the
sketch
quarter?
paper.
I meant like a cheat sheet, like a note,
Yep,
like
you'll have you are allowed to have a cheat sheet like a US letter size,
it's
which
only one
should,
page, right?
yep, only one page.
Okay, so we can fill it out back and forth.
Yep, and you don't need to submit it, just so write whatever you think you need.
Okay, yeah.
What would you recommend the best labs to do in order to study for the exam?
So I can't like
Like
suggest
when
any,
you,
because like if I suggest any, you study that and it doesn't come in your exam, so I can't suggest that. But what I would say is get the concepts of every lab and every individual assignment. Not the whole thing. You don't need to like memorize everything. Just get the concept, like
got it,
how the method is working, like what it wants, and like how it's being done.
got it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, I have
So I will
one
end the meeting in a
question.
few like just yeah. If you have a quick question, you can ask.
I have one last question.
Yep.
I'm pretty confused about the structure of the exam. So there's multiple choice and there's a section where we code. Is that right?
So you have taken your quarter exam, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yep. So your part one would be the same as your quarter exam, but more questions. And part two would be same as your lab. Like you do submit, you can run it and check and then submit it, right?
All right.
Yeah. Your part two would be like that, and for part one, it's going to be same as your quarter exam, just with more questions.
All right. All right, thank you.
Yep. So I'll be ending this meeting, and I'll be sharing this recording with the drive and the slides with the answers. If so, I think in some of my classes, I've seen students can't access the technology practice. So I think this slide will help. Like this is all the questions there are in the study guide. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining and have a great weekend. Bye.